Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more wars.
Well, I think having women involved in the process has really helped the process greatly, largely because it amplifies voices you don't normally hear at the table.
It's an explicit recognition of the reality that women are very much a part of this kind of process. That women, as we say, suffer more in war, together with their children, together with all the weak members of the community.
Well, it shows that the peace process is for everyone, for men, women, and everybody else. That it's not a problem that is created only by men, and therefore only men can find the solution.
The peace process cannot just happen at the top level. That what we learned in 2008 is that you need to always bring in the people, and having women there, and the way that it was conducted in the Philippines are the constant consultations actually informing the process itself.
One very unique is, I think, that they brought in the women's perspectives, the women's voice, and the lived realities of women on the ground. It's very different if a woman talks about us. They know exactly what we need, and therefore they can better understand us, but also plan and help us be empowered.
Women have made a big contribution to the peace process in both content as well as the process itself. As far as the process is concerned, we have been able to push for inclusiveness, and not just of women, but also of other marginalized groups like the indigenous people. And that is very important in a peace process. But the other, even more important thing is that we have contributed to content.
And it's actually a landmark point, because the Philippines is one of the first where you've got women involved in a Muslim peace process.
The women in the peace table, in the negotiating table, were instrumental in bringing out or putting in the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro certain rights that pertain or are of special interest to the women. And one of these would be the assurance that women shall have meaningful political participation in the Bangsamoro and shall get protection from violence.
As you know, part of the discussion had to do with what we meant by meaningful. And for us, it's a very simple concept. If it is not meaningful, then it must be meaningless.
We are very excited to see women, IP settlers, and Moros working together for a better Bangsamoro. And I think also there's that consciousness or acknowledging the fact that women can also play a very important role in terms of peace building and development.
Women are now participating. Women are now involved in the monitoring of the ceasefire in our community.
I think you can say you saw the heart more, no? Because of women's presence in this process. And that I think is important. I think it was important for the public to see a face to the process. And I think women projected that more when you saw their tears, when you heard their voices cracking, when you saw them celebrating being women at that table. I think that's important in reaching out to the people to say this peace process, it's not something that is far away. It is a very real process that will affect our lives. It is something that can be heartfelt.
This is a country where women are accepted, women do take leadership positions, and in fact what we've seen in some of the studies that we've done is that the women themselves are the ones who determine how far or how far they go in anything they decide to do.
There is always a courage for us to continue strengthen our ranks and continue educate especially the marginalized women so that when they were able to educate they start defending themselves, and when they start defending themselves they can participate in the upliftment of our community, to have a peaceful community that we live, that there are no more women who are victims of battering, and there are no more women who are victims of any form of discrimination.
That's something that the women themselves will have to define. What actually is meant by meaningful from their own life experience, and what will be something that they will regard as meaningful and therefore a positive step forward in terms of locating their own spaces in the public sphere.
We don't give up. We have to be faithful. That when we have a dream, there will be hard times, but every day we make that act of faith, and we are in that process has shown. We don't give up. We continue to keep the faith. We continue to work hard. Problems can be resolved. Decades-old conflicts, decades-old problems can be addressed. We need to relish and celebrate the achievements even as we prepare to work even harder. And it's important to give each other, the women who break ground, the women who help to push the limits of our possibilities, that we continue to travel together, we recognize each role together, and we enjoy each
I've
other.
been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more.